Now let's try to see how to size the elements inside the grid. Okay, so let us assume that we have a div which is going to act as a container. Let's have a class called grid container, and inside that there are 4 divs. Okay, and each of them are grid items. Now if I apply like this, display grid, then a grid will be created. And if I write like this, grid template rows 100 and 200, which means there are 2 rows and the height of the first row is 100 and the height of the second row is 200. That is the meaning of it. And then columns, grid template columns, if I write 400 and 800, it means that first column is having a width of 400 and second column is having a width of 800, like this. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so first row is 100, this one is 100 pixel, and this one is 200 pixel, and then this one is 400 pixel and this one is 800 pixel. But you should not use like this. Even though you can size the grid elements like this, you should not use this way of styling because it is not responsive. Okay, so when you try to drag it or shrink it, it is not going to be responsive because you have fixed the sizes. So instead of that, okay, one other way of writing this is, whenever you have to set for rows and columns all these 4 numbers, you can directly write like this: grid template, and then first 2 corresponding to the rows and the second 2 correspond to the columns. Okay, if you put a slash, it is rows by columns. Now you can also give 100 pixel and auto, 200 pixel and auto. For rows like this, some number followed by auto, and for columns some number followed by auto. So what is the meaning of this is like this. So for rows it is 100 pixel, so this is 100 pixel, and for the second row it is auto. Okay, so whenever you give auto to a row, our grid will see the size or the contents of the particular cell, and depending on the content of the particular cell, it will set automatically the height. The first height is 100 pixel is fixed, and the second height, this one, is according to the size of the 3. 3 is the only content we have. See this, 3 is the only content we have. Now depending on the size of the content, auto is going to be fixed. Now if I write like this, 200 pixel and auto, it means that the first column width is 200 and the second column width is auto. So whenever you write the column width as auto, it is going to span to the entire width. So that is the difference. So when you have auto in the rows, it will take only the size that is required. When you have auto on the columns, it is going to take the entire size. Okay. And then this is the right way of giving the sizes. So 1 fraction, 2 fraction. Rows are 1 fraction, 2 fraction. It means that second row is 2 times that of first row. If you assume everything to be of 3 parts, then 1/3 is going to be taken by the first one and 2/3 is going to be taken by the second one. And in the column also same thing, 1/3 and 2/3. For example, it will look like this. See, this row is 1/3, this row is 2/3. This column is 1/3, this column is 2/3, and this is going to be responsive. When you shrink, then according to the size of the screen, this ratio is maintained when you shrink it. Okay, and then we have min max here. Some sizes are given and some min max is given. So it means that the row are 200 and 400. First row is 200 and the second row is 400. That is the meaning of it. And here it means the first column is 200 and the second column, it depends on the size of the viewport, which means size of the screen. So it can be minimum 400 and maximum 800. If there is space, it will go till 800. But if you try to shrink it, it will not shrink beyond 400. That is the meaning of it. Okay. And then earlier we have seen in the chessboard that we have written 1FR, 1FR, 1FR 8 times. You don't have to write like this. Instead of that, you can write repeat. If you write repeat 2, 200 pixel, it means that 200 pixel is repeated 2 times, which means you have 2 rows of height 200 pixel. If I write like this, then it means that it is 100, 100. So instead of writing the same value many times, you can use repeat. How many times you want to repeat, followed by what is the value. Okay. So here you are getting row height as 200. So this is 200. And then the columns are 100 and 100, 100 and 100 here. Okay. And you can also have any number of times. So in this example, let us see this. There are totally 4 elements or 4 divs, which are grid items. 4 grid items we have. And if you observe it, we have 2 rows and 3 columns. If I write like this, it is 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay. So we have 3 columns and 2 rows, but only 4 elements are there. See, we could fit 6 elements here, but only 4 elements are there. Then the layout will look something like this. So 1, 2 and 3 are going to be in the first row because there are 3 columns, and the 4 is going to be in the second row. Okay. So here if you observe one point, this entire space is left out. Okay. And what about the sizes? Row is 200. Each row is of height 200 here, and each column is 100, 100 and 200. Sometimes you may have more elements. Here we have less elements. We may have more elements. For example, here I have 5 divs, but I have 2 rows and 2 columns, which means only 4 elements can fit. What happens in that case? In that case, all the 4 elements will be according to what you have specified. But coming to the 5th element, it will be outside. Which will be outside, I mean it is inside the grid only, but it will not be in the rows and columns. Now in this case, what happens is the width will become whatever the width of the columns are, each column, but then the height will become equal to the content. Here content is number 5, so it will become equal to the content. Okay. And then we have, whenever you have extra elements sometimes, and if you want to apply something to those extra elements in that row, you can give this number. For example, an extra element is here. We have only 2 rows and 2 columns. For this extra element, a height of 300 is specified. A height of 300 is specified. Width it will take from the column width, but the height you can specify it. It is going to take that. Okay, thank you.